Ask 10 football fans who the greatest player of all time is, and you might start a war. Some will say Messi. Some will say Cristiano Ronaldo. Older fans will say Pele or Maradona. Some will bring up Cruyff, Zidane, Ronaldo Nazario, or Beckenbauer. But here is the thing. Greatness is not just about who scored the most goals. It is about who dominated their era, who changed the way football was played, who created unforgettable moments, and who still feels legendary years later. So this is our ranking of the top 10 greatest men's football players of all time, from number 10 to number 1. And yes, this list is debatable. That is exactly why football is beautiful. At number 10, we start with pure joy, Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was not just a footballer, he was a show. When the ball reached his feet, the game suddenly felt like street football, theater, and magic at the same time. He could pass without looking, destroy defenders with a small body feint, bend free kicks, and smile while doing it. That smile became part of his legend because he made elite football look playful. His peak was not as long as Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, but his impact was massive. He won the Ballon d'Or in 2005, was named FIFA World Player of the Year in 2004 and 2005, helped Brazil win the 2002 World Cup, and gave Barcelona a new identity before the Messi era fully arrived. Ronaldinho belongs here because he reminded the world that football is not only about winning, it is also about imagination. At number 9, we have Ronaldo Nazario, the phenomenon. Before injuries changed his body, Ronaldo looked like a football experiment from the future. He had the power of a striker, the acceleration of a sprinter, and the close control of a street dribbler. Defenders knew what he wanted to do and still could not stop him. He won the Ballon d'Or twice and was FIFA World Player of the Year 3 times. But the most cinematic part of his story is the comeback. After serious knee injuries and the pain of the 1998 World Cup final, he returned in 2002 and led Brazil to the World Cup title with 8 goals in the tournament. Ronaldo was great because he changed the idea of what a modern striker could be. He was not just waiting in the box. He could pick up the ball, run at defenders, beat the goalkeeper, and finish like the move was inevitable. At number 8, Zinedine Zidane. Some players speed the game up. Zidane made the game feel slower because he had so much control. His first touch was calm. His turns were smooth. His passing was elegant. And in the biggest moments, he had a strange ability to make the whole stadium feel like it was moving at his rhythm. Zidane scored twice in the 1998 World Cup final as France won the trophy on home soil. He helped France win Euro 2000. He won the Ballon d'Or in 1998. He was named FIFA World Player of the Year 3 times. And his volley in the 2002 Champions League final remains one of the most famous goals in club football history. Zidane was not the most statistical player on this list. His greatness was control, elegance, and timing. When the pressure was highest, Zidane looked like he had more time than everyone else. At number 7, Franz Beckenbauer. Most GOAT debates are dominated by attackers, but Beckenbauer forced the world to make space for a defender. He did not defend like a normal defender. He became the symbol of the libero, or sweeper, a player who could read danger, step out from the back, carry the ball forward, and turn defense into attack. That is why his nickname, Der Kaiser, fits so well. He played with authority. Beckenbauer won the Ballon d'Or twice, which is extremely rare for a defender. He captained West Germany to the 1974 World Cup and became one of the most influential defensive players in history. His greatness is not just in trophies. It is in the way he changed the job description of a defender. After Beckenbauer, defenders were not only there to stop attacks, they could start them. At number 6, Alfredo Di Stéfano. For many younger fans, he is the name they hear but rarely watch. But to understand football history, you have to understand Di Stéfano. He was the engine of early Real Madrid greatness. In the 1950s, Real Madrid won the first 5 European Cups in a row, and Di Stéfano scored in each of those finals. That is not just a stat. That is a foundation stone of modern European football. Di Stéfano was ahead of his time because he was not locked into one position. He could score, create, press, drop deep, control the rhythm, and lead. In today's language, he was a complete footballer before that phrase became popular. He belongs above many more familiar names because his influence was enormous. He did not just win with Real Madrid. He helped build the idea of Real Madrid as a European giant. At number 5, Johan Cruyff. Cruyff was a genius on the pitch, but his real power was that his football ideas outlived his playing career. As a player, he won 3 Ballon d'Or awards and became the face of total football, a system where players moved intelligently, swapped positions, pressed, passed, and created space together. Cruyff was not just playing the match in front of him. He seemed to be designing a new version of football. His influence later shaped Ajax, Barcelona, modern possession football, and many coaching ideas that still exist today. Some legends are remembered for what they did. Cruyff is remembered for what football became after him. That is why he is top 5. At number 4, Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano's career is one of the greatest examples of evolution in sports history. He began as a tricky winger with stepovers and speed. Then he became a devastating wide forward. Then he became one of the most efficient goal scorers football has ever seen. His greatness comes from a rare combination: talent, athleticism, mentality, discipline, and an almost unreasonable hunger to keep improving. He has won 5 Ballon d'Or awards, 5 Champions League titles, the European Championship with Portugal, and became the leading scorer in men's international football according to UEFA records. But beyond the numbers, Cristiano changed what people expected from an elite athlete in football. His training, body care, aerial ability, movement, and finishing turned him into a symbol of longevity. He belongs near the top because he stayed world-class for an almost impossible length of time. At number 3, Diego Maradona. Maradona's greatness is hard to explain with normal statistics because his legend lives in emotion, chaos, and impossible moments. The clearest example is the 1986 World Cup. He scored 5 goals and created 5 assists, and his performance against England gave football 2 of its most famous moments: the controversial hand of God and the goal of the century. One moment showed controversy. The other showed genius. Maradona carried the ball like it was attached to him. His balance, low center of gravity, courage, and creativity made him almost impossible to contain. And then there is Napoli. He did not just join a superpower. He helped lift a club and a city into football history. Maradona was not perfect. His story had darkness and controversy. But on the pitch, at his peak, he created a kind of football mythology that few players have ever touched. At number 2, Pele. Pele was football's first truly global superstar. He was a teenager when he exploded at the 1958 World Cup, and he became the only player credited with winning 3 World Cups, 1958, 1962, and 1970. That alone makes him almost impossible to rank lower. Pele had speed, balance, heading ability, finishing, creativity, and a natural feel for the spectacular. He played in an era with less global television coverage, which means modern fans often know the myth more than the full match footage. But the myth exists for a reason. He made football feel universal. He gave the sport a face, a smile, and a global identity. His exact career goal totals can be debated depending on which matches are counted, but his impact cannot be reduced to a number. Pele was not just one of the greatest players ever. He helped make football the world's game.
And at number 1, Lionel Messi. Messi is the most complete attacking footballer many fans have ever seen. He can score like a striker, pass like a playmaker, dribble like a street footballer, and control the tempo like a midfielder. At his best, he did not just beat opponents. He made them look like they were reacting too late. For years, the only argument against Messi was the World Cup. Then Argentina won in 2022, and that final piece of the story changed everything. He has won a record 8 Ballon d'Or awards. He won the World Cup, the Copa America, multiple Champions League titles, and created one of the most dominant club careers in football history. But the real reason Messi is number 1 is not only the trophy list. It is the way he combined peak genius with longevity. It is the way he could decide a game without looking powerful, without looking loud, without looking dramatic. A small touch, a sudden turn, a pass nobody else saw, a finish into the corner. Messi made the impossible look normal. That is why, for this ranking, Lionel Messi stands at the top. But this is football, so no ranking will ever make everyone happy. Maybe you would put Cristiano higher. Maybe Pele is your number 1. Maybe Maradona's 1986 World Cup is enough to put him at the top. Maybe you think Ronaldo Nazario's peak was better than anyone's. That is the beauty of this debate. Now I want to hear your ranking. Who is your number 1 football player of all time? And which player should never be left out of the top 10? Write your list in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe, and watch the next football story on the channel. Because football history is not just about who won. It is about who made us believe that the game could be magic.